Well, what'd you kind of see when you're watching the Kansas-Colorado second half film with Kansas body language, kind of a team that people felt was beat up a little mentally, how they finished that game?
I just thought they just kept playing, and I think it shows a lot about their character and things that their coaching staff is trying to implement into them. It's real easy to pack it in a situation like that, and they never did that. So you got to give a team credit for continuing to fight and keep believing.
Do you see any reflections in what you know about Turner Gill's character and the way that Kansas played that second half?
Well, like I said, I think it just shows that he's instilling a certain kind of mindset with the football team. I don't know how much character has to play. The character of the football team and things I think he's trying to instill into his team.
You were new here in 03 when he had been here for...
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
You were new here. Did he kind of help you a little bit in 03, just kind of understanding the program a little bit or the history a little bit? Did you lean on him a little bit?
No, I lean more on Frank, but obviously, Turner was on the other side of the ball, but everybody you come in contact with, everybody you're on the staff with has, you develop a relationship with them, you get to know them, I think you learn from everybody you're around.
Their quarterback situation's up in the air. I think they played 3 different guys. How do you go about preparing for that this week?
We don't, to be honest with you, I don't even know, who's going to play quarterback, and it's kind of irrelevant. We're just kind of preparing against their offense, and because, who knows what they're, they don't change much from guy to guy, and I think they're all capable, and you got to be prepared for whoever lines up back there. Guys are easy today.
How about Rex, Bo? He comes in and plays quarterback and did so well. Will we see him again, or at QB? And how do you think he did Saturday?
I thought he did really well. I think he's a pretty natural at handling the Wildcat stuff, and I think he did really well. And I think he has some background as a quarterback, and Rex is just a good football player and has a great. He's to be able to line up and do all that, you have to have an understanding of what you're trying to accomplish and be able to take charge. And those are all things that are strengths of Rex. He's just a good football player. He's very confident. He's a take charge guy. So I think he fits that role really well.
There was some comments about Rex after that game that he's become kind of a team leader. Have you seen that?
Well, yeah, I think Rex became a team leader pretty quick around here. He got voted onto the Unity Council here. It's only his second year, and he's not a guy. Rex isn't a rah-rah guy, but he's just a guy who just brings it every day. And he's one of the guys who leads by example. And when you have the kind of work ethic he does, and you do things right on the field, off the field, and really embody all the things that you want your program to represent. I think he represents all those things. The guys recognize that, and it draws it draws respect really quickly for a guy like him, and I think that's what's happened. He is an exceptional young man. In every regard, and like I said, I think the other players, they recognize it.
So, Bo, when you referenced that you learned a lot from Turner back in 03, is there anything specifically stood out about me that
no. I learned from everybody I'm around, and I don't know if I said I learned a lot from him in particular. I didn't have a lot of. I not like I sat down and talked a lot. I had a lot on my plate that year, so it wasn't like I was sitting around. We weren't sitting around talking a lot of football and doing some things. Obviously you have the normal interaction you have with another coach. I'd leave it at that.
I wasn't around, but when you were the interim head coach for that bowl game. He was listed as the assistant head coach. Was there any?
He was the assistant head coach that whole year.
So did he have any more responsibility? Did he have any more interactions with any other?
I don't remember.
Hey, Coach, with Taylor missing the last game and a half, I guess, are there any positives that he's been able to kind of, just watching from the sidelines, he's been able to pick more things up and maybe learn?
You know, I think that Taylor's at that stage of his career. I think, obviously, you can learn all the time by watching and mental reps and all those things, but, you know, it's never good to, you want him to be out there doing it and getting his reps out on the field. That's the best case scenario, but he's smart enough to know that, I'm sure it makes him more hungry. I mean, he's a competitive guy. He wanted to play the other day. And, hopefully it'll make him that much more hungry when he gets back in there. And he's taken some hits and probably took some hits off of him last week and such. And, I think he's just anxious to get back out there and play.
What did you learn about Cody Green on Saturday?
I think he played well. I think there's a lot of things he can improve upon, but I thought he managed the game well. He made good decisions in the passing game. He thought he played well, and he did many of the things that we thought he was capable of doing.
How do you battle just the physical grind coming into November, dealing with players maybe getting a little bit more beat up because it's later in the season? How do you guys deal with that? Not only from a physical perspective, but just mentally preparing players to deal with little hurts and injuries that they can play through, but yet make life a little tougher.
Yeah, it's part of the deal. It gets a lot harder to deal with everybody's tired this time of year. Coaches, players, it's a grind. Like you say, it is a grind. And you get to this point of the year, you got to draw upon, we got a lot to play for right now. It's a lot harder if you're sitting here rather than being, what are we, 8-1? If we were 1-8, it'd be a heck of a lot harder. But, my message to the football team is we'll take our rest in 4 weeks. And until then, it's time you got to put the foot on the gas pedal and go. No one's going to give you anything. You got to go earn it. And if it was easy, everybody would do it. And that's the message.
Well, is it easier to coach against somebody like Gil, a guy that you know, opposed to somebody that you really don't have much, a relationship with?
Is it easier? Not really. It's not like. I don't have a strong relationship with Turner. I respect him. I know him, and I was with him for 1 year. We haven't really kept in touch much, and I respect him as a football coach, and he's not playing the game. I'm not playing the game. It's about our football teams, and that's about it.
Is what Chuck's doing down there similar to when you were at Oklahoma in 04, or has he changed much?
Say that again?
Is what Chuck Long's doing down there now similar to what he was doing?
There's some similarities and there's many differences. Obviously, it's different personnel. It's his first year there, so I see them getting better. But there obviously are some differences. I'm sure Turner has, he's an offensive guy. I'm sure he has a lot of input on the offense too, and it's like anytime you're in a first year together, it takes time to really develop continuity, not only with your team but with your staff and getting everything the way. I'm sure they're in the process of doing that right now, but you see them heading in the right direction. I can tell you that much. They're getting better as the year goes on.
But what makes Eric Haig such a valuable piece of your defense, the way it sets up schematically?
Eric Haig is an invaluable part of our defense. He does so many things for us. He's obviously, everyone knows what he brings athletically and such, but we ask him to do a lot of different things, from playing nickel to, which is a linebacker. Week to week, he has a lot to learn, and we ask him to do a variety of different things, which you got to be multi-talented to get that done. And I think he's having an exceptional year. He's really doing well and playing well, and I think his future's bright. I mean, he'll play at the next level, there's no question in my mind.
How much of that decision to make the nickel more your base defense this year was based on the personnel and knowing that you had him fill that role?
Yeah, that's a huge part of it. I mean, we worked him some at the safety in the last spring, but because we felt he had to be on the field, but then we also had some other safeties. We had Gomes. You got to find ways to get your best, your guys that have earned it, and your best football players on the field, and obviously he was one of those guys. And it also gives you a chance, because he can do a lot of different things well. It sure does create a lot more, it's easier for us to match up with people. It's like, in this day and age, people want to you try and create mismatches. When you got Eric Haig on the field, it's a lot harder for them to do it, because he's like he can play, he obviously can do the things we ask linebackers to do, but he can also line up and out there and cover any wide receiver you put him on, and that gives you a lot of multiplicity and a lot of flexibility as a defense.